left. So I was wondering why it was so stale, right? So what's going to happen here is that we're going to watch the carrier as soon as we ram in, because they will probably launch a torpedo bomber first to do that scout, then the fire on the lines, and then scout on the flanks. So we'll see what happens there. I'm on the C side. Okay. Well, get this over done with. Yeah, see that? See the minimap? There's a torpedo bomber first. We can't see it right now because I'm not there, but if you check the minimap, there is a TB first, and then he comes up with fighters, and the fighters are to do the night scout. And we see the enemy team, they're also flying a torpedo bomber as well. And that's just the initial, where are you going? So we see how the teams are compositionally are swapping out, and then the fighter moves in, and actually that torpedo bomber should not be tagged. It should escape, because with the legendary module, you get a speed boost. So I'd imagine both Hakus are running speed. Oh, what's this? Haku spotted? Does he deliberately tap himself every time, or is that just... It's the second time that's happened. I'm not entirely sure, because it's hard for me to see when I have to ram against the bot, because I can't get into the game as quickly as I can. But what we see is that the red team, so that's Smiles to TB Bomber, was picked off, and we see that the... I have to get the team names here. SGC, their TB Bomber, he did make it through. And what he's going to do is going to go to the edge, and he's going to go around the map. So if I go up, you can go around the map. Now the danger here with these fighter duels in the center is that you can tag, but you have to bring over the third and fourth are not in position. And that means he has local superiority. But the other problem is he knows, this being the SGC carrier, he doesn't have any friendly AA. And with the TB spot, he probably thinks, oh, you know what, I'm okay to take this duel. But you don't know if there's a DD or something sneaking up and AAing this stuff. So it's two separate duels right here. The first duel over here, which is a loss, and realistically you should be using two squads to kind of wipe that off. And then the second duel, which looks like our SGC carrier has done a better job because he's picked off one of the fire waves. But in terms of sight denial, we see the first dive bombers are coming on the flanks, whereas they're beginning to look, and we see from both teams have got dive bombers on the A and B, because the center you don't really need to do that, that's where the fighters are, and he's got a TB on the back line. Now the important thing here as a carrier person is not to actively scout. But when I mean that, because from a carrier's point of view here, is that you don't actively scout with the planes, you only do it when there's no other option. So like when ships fire, they reveal themselves. When the radar, when the hydro, you're getting sight. But if you need to shoot something and there is no other way of seeing it, that's when the carrier comes into play and he provides sight. And that sight-giving capability needs to be done at a moment's notice. And this Grozvoy is getting his health pool really chunked down here. Enemy gearing nearby. It's maybe doing a perma spot on the Groz. I'm wondering what forced him out of the smoke though. The Moskva with radar. I don't think... Oh, the Moskva's out of range, so I'm not sure what spooked him out of his own smoke. Maybe he was just taking too much concentrated fire, or he moved out. But so this is an instance where you want to see this Grozvoy. He will try and go stealth. So what the enemy CV on the Smile side realistically should be thinking of doing is firing a plane over to spot the Groz. Now that is suicide. There is a Worcester, there is a Grozvoy, both really good AA ships, in the sense that they'll kill the planes up very quickly. However, if you've got a dive bomb or a spotter, it's worth it. At 4,900, you know, I mean, okay, the ship ranges are 15, 16 kilometers. You could maybe get a kill. But instead, what we're seeing is we're seeing the Smile carrier player consolidate his fighters on the backline, trying to pick off the last scouts. And double TBs, these aren't going to do anything, not against the Worcester moving up. Now, the problem with the Worcester is he doesn't, the smoke's already been triggered by the Grozvoy, so he's going to kind of probably focus down. Well, I say focused, I mean, that's what I would do if I was the Smile team. We, you know, assuming there's sight, which is what the gearing can do by proxy, where does the Worcester go? Because he's stuck in, there's no smoke, he's stuck in a single line, exposed in the open, he can't go to any kind of corner. If I look at the bigger picture, we see the Mossfa Henry moving up. This is going to create an A bubble here. This Worcester's going to create an A bubble here. So it's kind of a standoff in sight. No one's going for B. The capture point is grabbed by Smile. And, oh, the Worcester makes the turn. So there we go. So he does decide to make the turn out. Either way, he was tailing or he did make a turn. But he's going to bump into his Henry buddy. Now, both of these guys aren't going to be moving particularly quickly. They're both going to have to split and go opposite directions. This could be punished pretty hard. Does the Grozova have another smoke to try and help out? Well, why would you come so close? No. They're just backing off out of A. No. Let's see, what else? So the other Worcester on the other side, this being from the SGC side, you see how he's reversing it. Now that's the safest thing you can possibly do because you're pretty good stealth detection. You know the enemy team only has one destroyer, which means you're not going to be outspotted in terms of detection. You have a good idea where the enemy teams are because you can check where everyone is and you can count the number of ships that are alive. So he can reverse in, boom, park, grab the cap, not be denied because there's no sighting. The enemy carrier might be asked to provide a sight to see what's going on, and this is possibly what this fighter's doing, or alternatively the Mossfa can pop a radar, one consumable, and the Henry can reset tap. And that's possibly what's happening right now. But, you know, it depends how much health this Worcester takes down, because the Worcester here has triggered a radar from the Mossfa. There's only so many radars. And he's just going to stay here, actually, until this point. So maybe that was probably a plane spot. But, you know, if you force a consumable... So, for example, if I'm a carrier and I know there's a destroyer on a cap, I might fly a plane to that destroyer on the cap, force him to pop a smoke, and then leave instantly. And that's me just used up one of his smoke consumables that he can't use to help out his team. As far as the rest of this going, health-wise, it does look like... I mean, we knew the Groz took a bunch of damage. He's healed that up, because he can. So he's gained double health. Henry, however, he is... Yeah, he's tailing, so he can actually pick his speed up and kind of back off. Now, but the thing is, there's a lot of concentrated firepower here from Smile on the A side. And they're not... Well, I don't think they're really... Other than a couple of hits on the Conquerors they're trying to burn down, Conquerors can heal like a ton of health. So, I mean... And that's kind of all soft damage. Oh, hello. Really? You're going to try and bomb the Worcester on Charlie? Oh, well, please, impress me. What could possibly happen here? Oh yeah, okay, planes die. Yeah. Fighter duel's going on. Let's have a quick pick on the map. So double duel going on. If I'm this Mossfa right now, I'm calling for assistance. AA that things. And then if I'm the Worcester, I am AAing that torpedo bomber, and then I'm AAing these fighters. See, all three fighters are here. So this Mossfa's got AA range at 8.6 kilometers, which he does, because he's within range. Then, honestly, he should be trying to kill off the fighter planes as quick as possible, because in a long game that goes, you know, down to the last 5 minutes... Those last planes allow you to scout with impunity, and maybe even bomb, because the Conquerors don't have defensive fires, they don't have cover. Actually, this Conqueror over here is way by himself. So you can see that as the carrier, provided you can still keep sighting up, and sight deny with the fighters, you can go after targets and bomb. And if you can get like this Conqueror down to 25k, 27k, actually, I think that's what these planes are doing right now. They're going to go in for the bomb right now, and he's basically looking to get extra fires or floods. But look at that Conqueror heel kicking in. Insane. Oh well. In terms of points, Smile's in the lead at 420 to 300. I don't have the cap timers on this. I probably will try and install the Aslan mod as soon as this game ends. What is chimping at the Mossfa? I mean, it's long range dueling at A, but the gearing on the point gives keeping A control. The B cap, which I totally missed, was captured by Smile, and it looks like the Worcester could possibly reverse back in and get Charlie again, or he's just chumping down the Mossfa, creeping those shells over the hilltops. That's really annoying. It's extremely... Oh wow, even the Yamato couple of pops, they smell blood in the water. What kind of detection? Well, the Henry's on his flank, but he can't see him. Right, okay, so he goes stealth. Now, this is an instance where I need to see that Mossfa. So this fighter needs to come in. Ideally, he has like a dive bomber or something else, but of course he was attacking the Conqueror on the far flank. So, yeah. Alright, they see him again. Another Yamato salvo. Is this hit? Oh, he's trying to reverse around the corner, which means he's a little bit more broad than he is, but he's on 5.6k. Maybe the Henry can double back out and shoot. No, that's not the case. He might just get away. Might. You wouldn't bomb the Mossfa either. I think the AA is on, it's too good. But he is isolated by himself. Henry's kind of too far away, and the two Henrys are just kind of in a little personal duking it duel at the moment. In terms of health pools as a whole, it looks relatively even-ish, but the Conqueror on the Fire side is down to 6,500 health up on the top, and he is probably going to get chumped down, because well, that's what the Henrys are there for. Here we go. Now he can heal. Ooh, is he beginning to heal? He's gone stealth again. And that's because this dive bomber's been tagged. Well, fly the dive bomber over. Yeah, okay, so we see the Conqueror now, but that's really just because he fired and he's healing up again. So he's not that close to death. Well, from the SGC side, they are behind because they don't have the caps. So the Smile team is accelerating in the capture points. But, there you go. Ooh, nice kill. So the Henry did finally get into position and slam the Mossfa behind. That was always the risk. Without the Mossfa there, theoretically the Worcester might be able to... I say he might be able to go back, but I don't think that's the case now. This Conqueror's double back down, so he's got a kind of cross shot along this line. And this Minotaur can do that kind of proxy spotting on the Worcester or do radar. So anything that goes into C is going to get spotted. In terms of the A-cap, I think this is what they're going to try and pressure. We see the Grozvoi's pop the smoke, giving the Worcester free line fire. The radar ship from the enemy Mossfa is just outside of radar range at 13.9. I think it has to be like 11.7. So yeah, you can keep firing and chumping him out. Conqueror's just going to take blind shots, maybe go for the Grozvoi. See, the Conqueror's like went down from like 5k back up to 4k. I think that's maybe why teams like them that much. And they're just trying to, yeah, they're blind firing into the smoke before they can get radar. So Grozvoi moves into the A-cap. And while all of this is going on, there isn't much activity elsewhere. The Worcester we did see on C has gone around the island. He's going to come and maybe kind of approach in from this direction, stay hidden behind the island and grab the cap, so that's kind of interesting. And the Grozvoi is beginning to get the A-cap as well. Now in comes this fighter plane. That's a scouting fighter plane, giving out sight, right? They have to die instantly. That's an instant defensive fire. You pop it right away. In fact, even you might even want to put the fighter out and push, and he's thinking about maybe bombing something. This enemy Mossfa from Smile is taking a ton of chump damage. Groz just needs to not get spotted, or the defensive fire from this Worcester also needs to come in and get rid of that fighter plane. Ah, he's just out of range at 9.5, that's why. But if he's on 8.6 extreme, but the thing is, the Grozvoi has really good AA as well. He also needs the defensive fire, but he's been pushed out of the A-cap. Oh, he certainly cannot die though. I mean, okay, so they get the Mossfa, but is the Grozvoi going to survive the defensive fire? Sorry, with is he going to burn out? Or is he going to get damage control part and heal? I mean, if I'm the enemy CV, I'm firing planes over there and then saying, hey, shoot this guy. Oh, he's going to burn. He's going to burn 28. Oh, man, that hurts a lot because now they can't stealth cap the A and they're out of smokes whether or not they had anymore. We can see that the Worcester was thinking of maybe going into Charlie on the far side, but the Minotaur is just laying into him. I don't know how they see him. I don't see particularly any planes. Maybe it's just kind of do some pot shots, but the Worcester is low at 5k. The other Henry versus Henry, relatively even on health pools here. And sight now is extremely important. Where's the enemy, where's their positioning, and what game plan do you do? We still have 4 ships though on the Alpha side for SGC. Henry Conk, Henry Worcester. You have to make a play. You're down to 6 minutes on the game clock. It's 650 versus 335. So while we don't have the exact timers down to the cap, you need to make progress. And you're probably not going to win this based on caps. You're probably going to need to get kills. So you've got a Henry Conk and it's 4-on-2 here. And a torpedo drop with a defensive fire on the Henry. You can dodge that fairly easily, but the important thing is it does a positional gameplay. It forces the Henry to turn in, to dodge, and then he can expose broadsides to these ships. And realistically, I think all 4 of these should be pushing hard on A. Then again, I could be wrong. Oh, hello. And this Yamato is isolated. So one of the complicated issues is the Yamato doesn't have a defensive fire ship to back him up, and if we go over to the smoke, we see probably the Minotaur here is on the smoke. We see that the Minotaur is just inside AA range on the Yamato, which means his AA overlaps the Yamato, hostile AA, which means he can AA down enemy fighters that try and save the Yamato, and it gives him a free torpedo bomber drop, which is probably what took his health pool down there. As far as the rest going on, Worcester's down to 2.2. Henry's on like 11. I don't know what he's trying to fight. that dive bomber's probably doing some spotting. It could be some blind shots. Also, it could be the fact that the Henry's firing back and then he's spotted by this Henry's why he's taking shots and this Minotaur can fire. The only way that SGC here is going to win this is if they make this A push stick. And so the Worcester's gone into A to try and grab the cap to slow the point gain down, but now all 3 capture points are in the hands of Smile. And fired-wise, okay, yeah, no, the SGC guy is kind of doing... Oh, the enemy Henry's going to go down at 3k. I don't think he can disengage. See, right, he's trying to keep the planes away. He's trying to keep the Worcester unspotted, but they know his last known location, and they can just sort of blind lob fire shots on. Especially if the Worcester returns fire, then he's going to stay permanently lit up. Conquer down to 16k again. Henry's trying to kind of punish him, but we're down now to the 4.5 minute marker. Yeah. That's such crippled health on the eastern flank. I don't see how they can push at all, especially with the Conqueror there waiting for them. Has to happen on the A side, and the problem is this Conqueror is extremely resilient, and he doesn't have sight. Okay, so the dive bomber comes back from the CV. He gives sight. That's something that's often missed by other casters. Is when things go blind, you just assume that everyone can see everything. Well, there's no, like, a guy actually has to make that happen. And then this fighter duel going on over here is risky because it was 2-on-2 possibly, but look, the Minotaur's here, and he is easily inside AA range. Yep, you can see this absolutely getting flacked down. This fighter's gonna get wrecked. And that just means that now you can't protect your own scouting planes, and you can't do like suicide planes spots when you need to. Huh. Probably should turn off announcements. But thank you, Flood. 3 minutes 30. Smile knows that they're winning, and the Henry goes into B, and they're pushing it, right? But it's 930 points. The Yamato just dies. They know the Worcester's vulnerable. They know the Henry's vulnerable. I tell you what, the CV... No, he couldn't. He couldn't drop the Worcester. It's not going to happen with 2 torpedo bombers. I don't have the health upgrade. But the Conqueror might die. Yeah, you know what? 4k. If he doesn't have any more heals, or they're not in any good time... Oh, CV. CV didn't actually drop his payload to make the planes go faster. Okay, so they buy a little bit of time, but the point differential is massive, and it's not so much them getting control of the caps back as the issue, it's the game clock. It's 3 minutes left. Ooh, broadside Henry taking some shots from the Haku. Whether or not his AA was chumped down, or he didn't have a defensive fire, or just dropping close enough was enough. But the issue is you've got a bunch of solo ships for SGC, which means you've got isolated defensive fires, and that will kill planes and will panic them, but not necessarily quick enough. So yeah, that's pretty much game over here. I mean, these guys on this kind of eastern flank from SGC have done a good job at staying alive and just trying to mitigate themselves dying, and also stopping the enemy team pushing if they ever wanted to, which I don't think Smile would ever do, but... I'm not really all that certain. There we go, that's the game. Right, let's bring up the Aslan mod pack here. Yeah, I'm just going to put standard mods on with so we can see the health pools. Go back